Welcome to the podcast series, Small Business Survival Conversations. Through our weekly conversations, we hope to provide you with strategies and insights, knowledge and expertise to enlighten you as you work to build and grow your business. Here are your hosts, Anna Steinfest and Dr. Michael Troyer.
Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Michael Troyer, and I'm here with my colleague, Anna Steinfest.
Hello, everyone.
And we are here with Small Business Survival Conversations. And this morning we want to talk about the uncertainty of the times we're in, where we hope there's not going to be a recession worldwide or in the United States, but we don't know. There's a lot of questions out there. People are hiring in some places and laying off in others. So what 4 questions might you as a small business owner want to ask yourself on a continuing basis? And I'm going to start with the first of those questions to have you think about it. Am I differentiated enough? What do you think, Anna? Are you and I differentiated enough?
Of course we are. And all the time you have to ask yourself that question. In fact, that question should be in front of you, not only for uncertain time, but every single time, because you want to know how are you different than your competition? Why customers should buy your product or services compare to your competition?
Why do they want you? Why do they want your product or your service? If you aren't asking that of them, you're missing an opportunity. So there's a second question under the first one. Am I differentiated enough? Have you asked your customers why? You need to know these things. So that's our first question for the day. Are you differentiated enough? Second question, are you fit for growth?
Yes. When you say, Michael, about fit for growth, I think we should expand for the sake of our listeners, understanding what way you're asking this question.
Yes. I use an example all the time. I must admit, I'm a fan of racing, and I'm thinking of racing in an oval, whether it's a Formula One is road track, but in any case, let's think of an oval, and you're in a race car, and you want to pass a competitor up ahead of you. What you do is you begin preparing on the third and the fourth turn of the racetrack to pass that competitor coming out onto the straightaway of the racetrack. You have to prepare ahead of time. So you have to have all the resources, the car positioned right, the speed right. You have to choose when to accelerate, all those things. Let's take it to a small business. Do you have the resources in place to grow if we come out of a recession, or if things don't become a recession? Do you have the resources in place to jump ahead of the competition and grow your business, to scale it? What does that mean? Well, we have to have a list and a plan, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Number 3, we will continue and then we can expand also. Is my IT spend effective and at the right levels? Now, this IT for some of our small business owners, it's scary because we don't know. For some of us, it's like a black box. What is it? There is all these softwares out there where we're not sure, should we integrate that in our current structure, not integrating? How are you going to digitally transform your business growth? Because in some case, it makes sense to acquire new IT app or resource within your business to be positioned for better growth.
And maybe to be quicker and more efficient. The challenge is there's so much out there. So I think Anna and I want to urge you to go talk to your peers, to go talk to other people who have the same questions and join together to figure out what's the answer here. What preparations do I need to make? What you don't want to do is be Southwest Airlines, which is not a small business, but 20 years ago, they should have upgraded the technology that would tell them where their planes and their crews were. And we got bad weather a month ago. They didn't have the right technology. And boy, are they in trouble now. They shut down so many of their flights. That was a failure to keep up with their IT in some degree. And we're all challenged with that. So that's our third point then. Pay attention, ask, inquire, look around. Make some judgments about where you need to be and what the right software is. And number 4.
How do I reduce my risk? And I think that it correlate a little bit with number 3, because acquiring some of this IT process will help you mitigate some of the risk, not being so much exposed to risk.
Think, for example, of your security. Are you protected from a cybersecurity standpoint with the right software, the right program? Do you have accuracy in your data that you do collect to try to understand your customers better? What about inflation? How much will further price increases put you at risk? Those are all part of that kind of an objective, honest risk assessment that you ought to take so that you know where you're going.
And make sure that you go back and check your insurance binder also. For businesses, I know that sometimes you are saying to yourself, well, I'm too small to have any liability insurance, things like that. No, you're wrong. You're exposing yourself for a lot of risk once you get in business. So we do want you to go reassess whether you're adequately insured. Do you need to add additional layer of protection? And that might cost you only $5 a year. But make sure that you reassess.
And it kind of opens a broader question as a part of this. Look at all of your vendors out there from whom you get things, from insurance and products and materials. How are they doing? Do they look like they're okay? Are they struggling? Do you have a backup if you lose one? That's all part of the risk assessment. Anna, can you take us back through the 4 points real quick?
Absolutely. Number 1, we want you to ask yourself, am I differentiated? Number 2, am I fit for growth? Number 3, is my IT spend effective and at right levels? And number 4, how do I reduce my risk?
Ask yourself our questions and you're getting yourself ready for the future. We're glad you could be with us today.
Thank you.
You've been listening to the Small Business Survival Conversation podcast. Make sure to like, rate, and review the show. And don't forget to join us next week for another episode. In the meantime, hook up with us on our Facebook group at Small Business Survival Tools and Tips. Till next time, thank you for listening.